Johnson. Thank you very much. Coming up on Jazz postgame, got a lot to get to. The Jazz, for the first time this season, lose 2 in a row. Thanks in large part to Joel Embiid. We'll talk a lot about that. We'll hear from Will Hardy in just a moment. Plus,
you've got to be kidding me, man. I mean, we talked about it in the pregame. Like, Walker Kessler needs to play. And how does he only play 11 minutes and 58 seconds? Out of the whole team, he has the highest plus minus at 13. Like, what is going on, man? This literally is the first game I felt frustrated at as a Jazz fan, because it feels like the same thing happened yesterday with Kristaps Porzingis. He didn't score 59 points, but it's like, is Will Hardy? I'm going to let you guys speak, so start requesting, because I don't want to just explode on this podcast. That's about where I'm at right now. We only lose by 7 points, but is Will Hardy an offensive coach and he just doesn't understand defense? Like, it's to me, it's not that hard to see that Embiid's going off and your best bet is Walker Kessler. Now, Walker Kessler got cooked a couple times, but then he realized, okay, I need to put pressure on Embiid, and he gets out and picks Embiid up beyond the 3-point line and puts a body into him, and Embiid shoots an air ball. And then, like, after that, he just never got another shot. It doesn't make sense to me. So I'm gonna request Tevin first. Go ahead, man. You go. Just I need some time to cool off.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Joel Embiid went off, but there were some times where I'm like, let's put Walker Kessler on him, see if we can do anything, put Lauri Markkanen on him. But I mean, sheesh, 59 points. What a showing.
Bro, and like Vanderbilt did okay on him. That was fine. Olynyk actually did all right on him too. But my thought before he just really started going off is like, we need to be showing him different bodies. Even if you put Colin Sexton on him maybe and just really get into his body. If you look at his shot chart, everything mostly was inside the 3-point line. And I feel like the key to guarding Embiid is just picking him up early. And Olynyk did that a few times where it's like, okay, I'm gonna, pick him up right at the 3-point line and be physical with him. Obviously, Embiid's so big, he's gonna beat you sometimes. But this is the epitome of being a Jazz fan. It's just like guys have career nights. The Sixers fans with their phones out, like recording the scoreboard or whatever it was. It's like, dude, why does this always happen to the Jazz? I'm going to go to JC's drip. Let it rip. JC's drip, you're muted if you want to talk.
I saw the loss coming with 8 minutes left in the fourth. I mean, Embiid was going off. And to your point about Kessler, you said he only played 11 minutes.
11 minutes and 58 seconds.
That is
what the hell?
Ridiculous, considering that the time that we went up by 14 was very reliant on Walker Kessler. He had those 4 blocks, and his defensive gravity really had a huge impact in, I think, that second quarter. Obviously, Markkanen couldn't guard him. Vando couldn't do anything. Nobody that was playing could do anything, and Kessler was definitely our best option. I have no idea why he only played 11. That's ridiculous to me.
What blows my mind is, to me, Lauri is the worst in big guy. I think Lauri's fine defensively on the perimeter and actually probably guarding people that are smaller than him. But when a center goes against Lauri, he's ineffective. And for us to finish with Lauri on Embiid, I don't understand. Like, at least put Olynyk on him and Vanderbilt's in the game as well with Lauri, and Lauri's still on him. It makes no sense. So I'm gonna head over to, let's see who's next in the queue. Armani, you're on, man. Don't hold back either. I want to hear your guys' true feelings because I'm about to erupt over here.
For me,
I'm really getting tired of this shit. I'm really, really, really getting tired of the ball not going to Lauri when Lauri's on the fucking court. It did Walker Kessler not getting minutes. Like, that shit is getting really, really crazy. Why is Kessler not getting minutes? Is crazy. 3 blocks in 11 minutes is really crazy.
Well, and like it looks like, again, we're tired, and it's almost like we're relying so much on Conley, so much on Clarkson, so much on Lauri to score.
Good. That's the shit. See, the thing that's pissing, the guard play is getting really, really, really bad.
Yeah, and the thing, this is, I don't know if it was last game or before, but you look at the box score, the plus minus, all the starters are negative, and it's not by a small margin. It's double digit, -13, -17, -16, -15. And then you go to the bench and Malik Beasley +3, Rudy Gay +12, Taylor Horton-Tucker +10, Walker Kessler +13. So it's like we're relying so heavily, and Colin Sexton's the one starter, his negative was only -3. But it's like, give Sexton, Beasley, Taylor Horton-Tucker, Kessler minutes to give these other guys a rest. They're obviously, our shots are short, and we do look tired, but I think a lot of that is coaches relying so heavily on these guys that had a good start, and they're starting to get tired. And I believe we have a deep bench. It's blowing my mind that we're not using these guys. Like Walker Kessler, it is gonna be special. He's gonna be special.
Walker Kessler and Taylor Horton-Tucker are our most disruptive defenders, and they do not get enough minutes.
Well, and Malik Beasley was on fire, has 18.
Malik Beasley is our best shooter.
Yeah, so like,
we need minutes from them.
I feel like Hardy was good at, playing different lineups, as far as finishing lineups and playing the hot guy. But these last 2 games, it just makes me feel, I don't know if somebody like got in his ear as far as the coaching staff. I know Jason Terry's on the coaching staff, and Jeff Hornacek, and you just wonder, like, what's going on at practice.
I don't think that's necessarily the issue. I think the issue is when see, the rotation's been the same.
Yeah.
I think the main issue is when we're not hitting from the 3, we're not readjusting the offense.
Yeah, I agree with.
And we're not allowing the bench to do it. The bench scored 45 points. 45. We scored 98.
Yes, it's crazy. I feel like the one guy that was driving and kind of caught not fire, but like was doing well even against Embiid was Colin Sexton.
Yeah, Sexton. Yeah. Sexton, he did make that boneheaded play at the end of the game.
Yeah, his downfall is.
I know you see JC in the corner the entire time.
That fast break, the like 3-on-1. Yeah, man. I'm gonna let someone else speak because I'm still trying to cool off here. So,
and I think we've come at the point of the season, what we're in 14, 15 games in, that we're scoutable, right? Teams know it's not a surprise anymore.
Yep.
They know exactly what to expect, especially from Markkanen, who's up and coming. And what I noticed, especially in the second half when our offense was just in the mud, everything is telegraphed. I know exactly what Mike's going to do. I know exactly what.
Yeah.
So when there's no creativity and it's like, it's like they're playing basketball. How do I explain it?
No, see, I think you know what I mean? The thing is that the offense works, but the one thing that we need is a creator. And Sexton is the one person who can really get off, but he kind of halts the offense at the same time.
Yeah.
Sometimes. So
yeah.
We need that special player, and Hardy's offense works. It's a great offense. It's a great motion offense. It gets everybody involved. Everything's great. We need that one special player. I think we have it in Lauri, but Lauri's not getting the ball.
Yeah, I think Lauri was a little tired at the end. Let's see how many shots Lauri had.
We've seen how at the beginning of the game when Lauri was getting the ball, game was easy.
Yeah, he had 8 points in 4 minutes, and then he only finishes with 15.
15. He only gets, 11 shots?
He had 13, shot 46.
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't even remember the 13. And he shot too many. See, he shot 2 threes in the beginning of the game. That was just like, you didn't need to do that.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel like if
his touches need to be around the elbow area. Do you seen how he had PJ Tucker on him for like a great duration of the game, and he can kill PJ Tucker. He's not getting the ball. The guards are sitting there playing, trying to play ISO, trying to play handoff threes, and I'm just like, yo, bro, like get the ball to Lauri, let them crash onto y'all, get the kick out, cool.
See, and if you
they're gonna have to help him, PJ.
If you give him like 6 more minutes of rest with Kessler or somebody else, he plays 34 minutes, and maybe down the stretch he can be a little more effective.
I feel like the lineups that he played with within those 34 minutes need to change a little bit. I think there needs to be a little tweak. Like I see, he doesn't play enough minutes with Kessler, which that would help him.
Yeah, I think so too. I think we've been hitting on that the last couple podcasts. I think
him, Conley, and Walker Kessler need to be playing with each other for a nice little, I don't know, maybe like 8-minute time frame.
Yeah,
they need that.
All right, let's go back. Let's go over to Dallin. You guys have requested, so I'm gonna let Dallin go and then Colin go. So if everyone else can just mute yourself while these guys talk. Go ahead, Dallin. Give it to us. Give it to us, boy.
Oh, man. Dang. Such a disappointing game. Sucks. Got my hopes up that we were coming back. Embiid just went off, though. I agree with throwing different bodies at him. Walker Kessler should have been on him way more than 11 minutes tonight. He wasn't even in foul trouble. We had an early lineup in the first few games of Kessler, Olynyk, and Markkanen. I don't know if we should have gone back to that lineup because it seemed like it had worked defensively, especially when we play those longer teams that have those more athletic, 6'9". Like if they have 3 or 4 6'9" or taller guys on the floor together, then it just seems like when we switch off, we get mismatched like crazy. And there's just another game of the ball wasn't falling when then our offense just stops flowing and the shots aren't falling, and then the defense just struggles too. It's all around.
Yeah, and our defense isn't rated the highest. I think the thing that was helping us win games was our steals. We were ranked I think second in the NBA. Hang on, Hardy's speaking, so I'm gonna do my thing and let him speak.
We did not shoot the ball well. We did not execute very well on the offensive end. Obviously, missing shots and missing free throws can happen in a game. The stat that bothers me the most is Philly had 14 blocked shots. That's a lot of poor spacing and poor decision making. Nobody who really, credit to Philly. They played well. Embiid played a great game, took advantage of our lack of discipline, guarding the ball and fouling. And we still had a chance to win. It's been a frustrating night for our group, but it's something that we can definitely learn a lot from. Look forward to getting back home.
When you say it's been a frustrating night, what do you think? Where does the peak of that frustration come from?
Yeah, I thought this game was not representative of how we want to play. I thought
great answer.
Great. We controlled the tempo. Our spacing was very good. Our execution was good. And as the game went on, that did not continue. and it put us in a tough spot against a good team and a very good player down the stretch.
What would you have liked to see differently against Embiid, especially down the stretch?
I would have liked to have seen us do a little bit better job on the ball, not getting beat with the first dribble. And then I think when you come to help, you have to keep your hands out. He's a master at drawing fouls. He does the sweep through very, very well. And when you play the fourth quarter of an NBA game in the bonus for the majority of it, defense is very hard, especially against a physical player like that.
Tried to double and then kind of went away from it a little bit, or at least were less quick on the double. What did you kind of notice about those situations in particular?
Yeah, I thought our communication and execution was very poor in those situations. We did a bad job communicating where the crowded side was, so that the player on the ball knows where to send the ball. And credit to Embiid, he took advantage of it and played a great game. And I think a lot of our poor defensive play or poor communication stemmed from the fact that our offense was not operating the way it should. And I felt like our team got frustrated and we were not able to carry over our focus to the defensive end very well. But, it's a great learning moment for our team, and a lot more games to go.
You mentioned the blocks, and Embiid had 7 of them. Was spending a lot of time in the paint. I guess what would you like to see differently spacing-wise in order to get him out and maybe attack him in different situations?
Yeah, I thought we did a good job of spacing him at times during the game. And then I also just think that the timing of our decisions was a little bit off tonight. When a player like that stands in the paint for the majority of the game, you have to be on time and deliver the ball. I thought we had some opportunities to find guys on kickouts and put him in some tough spots. But he did a good job, and their guys on the ball did a very good job of disrupting us. I mean, Thibault had 5 steals. Tyrese Maxey had 4 steals. Those guys did a very, very good job of being disruptive on the defensive end.
You've talked a lot about operating well in chaos, but can that nip you in the butt every once in a while?
There's 82 games. I wish that we were able to be perfect through all 82. Tonight, in the second night of a back-to-back in a tough environment here in Philly, I think we had some moments where we could have really seized control of the game, and we didn't. And sometimes you miss a timely shot, and that's okay. We're always just focused on how we play, how we execute on offense and defense. And some nights the ball just doesn't go in, but I don't think that was the case tonight.
Is there a silver lining at all about how close it was despite what Embiid was doing on the other side?
Yeah, I mean, he had a great game, but, he took a lot of the shots. There's only one ball. So I think looking at the final score, 105, it wasn't our best night defensively, but I still think, we had a chance to win the game. The silver lining, I think, is that we're always in the game and our team doesn't quit. And even if we're not playing our best, our guys continue to fight and continue to stick in there. And, that's what our team's all about, is that you may be able to beat us, but you're going to have to beat us. We're not going to just roll over and let you win the game. So I love our team's intensity. I love the way that we continue to find ways to stick in games. And tonight was a tough one.
We talked before the game about Tyrese Maxey a little bit. I know that Embiid did a lot tonight, but in the first half especially, Maxey was kind of getting where he wanted when he wanted. What would you have liked to have seen better on that?
Yeah, I think it's hard when a player like Embiid's screening. You're worried about Embiid a lot, and Maxey was able to get free. I thought we made him take tough shots. I thought we made him take some long floaters, a lot of pull-up 2-point jump shots. He got a couple good looks from 3 that he didn't knock down, but that's why these guys in the NBA are so good. Is it puts you in a lot of tough spots. We can always do a little bit better job closing the gap and pick and roll and getting into guys' bodies. But I think for the most part, we did a pretty good job making Tyrese take some hard shots tonight.
Mike, you hear Coach talking about how this team battled down the stretch and fight and intensity. And one of the ways that we statistically try to gauge that is offensive rebounds, second chance points. You're looking for improvement, and certainly.
All right, Colin, you've been requesting to speak, so I'm going to let you go next. All the way in South Carolina, you probably got to get to bed.
Are you turning off the post game?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to say, I think if you put this game in a vacuum and did it 10 times over, I think the Jazz win this game 10 out of 11 times. I think so many things went wrong. Or I wouldn't say so many things went wrong. So many things went right for Philly and went wrong for the Jazz. Like, first of all, 11 steals, 14 blocks, Jazz shooting 58% from the free throw line. Like, even if you take the Utah Jazz average and put it, for the free throws, the Jazz will win that game, I think, or tie it. I kind of did the math earlier. I forgot what it turned out to be. But they shoot like their average. I think it was like their average was like 75, something around there. I saw the stats earlier. But first of all, 14 blocks on a night has to be well above Philly's average. 11 steals has to be a little bit over their average as well. And then the MVP frontrunner having a career high night. Like, that's what I'm saying. 10 out of the 11 times, Jazz win this game. But I feel like just everything went wrong. Also, Will Hardy seemed to be going a little bit away from what I like so much about what he's doing before, like leaving all of the players that are performing in.
Yeah.
I think Walker Kessler could have really helped at the end there. And he just didn't, like, for the second night in a row, I don't know, I guess. I mean, I kind of understand it because it's, as a coach, you want experience at the very end of the game. But, I mean, for a young team like the Jazz, maybe it's because we're winning a lot, and now he's thinking, there's some kind of expectation on him. In the beginning, there was no expectation, so I think he may have completely thought he had free will to do whatever he wanted to, and now he doesn't think he has that same free will because they're actually winning, and maybe they have some sort of expectation within the front office now. But I don't know.
I agree with that. I think Will Hardy's feeling the expectations. There's a few times where, he takes deep breaths and you can see it on his face. Watching that or listening to that interview calmed me down a little bit, realized like it is a long season, but the thing that's so frustrating about these last two games, like Hardy said, is some nights the ball just isn't falling, and that's more what it felt like last night or yesterday. This one just felt winnable, and he said, our guys fight till the end, which I agree. I think everyone in there fought and tried their hardest. I think they looked a little tired, but a part of this one to me feels like coach not putting the right lineups in as far as who's playing well and the sheer size of Embiid and Kessler. It's frustrating. I think all of us kind of have built-in expectations now because of our hot start. Like, it's so exciting to watch the Jazz and be like, and they could have been 11-4. Now they're 10-5. I don't think anyone expected us to go 0-2 on this road trip, but those blocks that you're talking about, 7 of them come from Joel Embiid. I believe he had, I can't remember all of them. I think he had 2 on Sexton, I want to say. And it felt like a lot of them were guards driving in. And then to go back to your point, Colin, as far as free throws, we shot only 56%. We shoot 23 free throws. We leave 10 points on the board just by missed free throws. And then, us having a lot of this success is us hitting 3-point shots, and we shot 29%. We shot 37 3-point attempts and only made 11. So those two stats are huge, but this one just felt more like frustrated as a fan that he didn't give the opportunity, like you said, Colin, to the guys that were hot and the fact that Walker Kessler gets only 11 minutes is really the storyline to me. I'm going to go ahead, and we've got Dat Landon in here. We've got another pick locks with the NBA logo. And Sandy, if any of you all want to speak, I'm more than happy. I feel like I'm a little bit calmed down now. Any other takes that you guys noticed throughout the game? I know before in the pregame chat, we were saying that we really needed to key on Tyrese Maxey. He ended up with 18, but he only shot 33% from the field. I felt like the times that we sent a double team to Embiid, he had a few where he threw it out of bounds. I felt like we should have kept doing that. But what do you guys think? Anybody can unmute and talk.
They continued on to do the double team on Embiid, but they were fouling. The guards was reaching in too much. That was a problem.
Yeah, there was a point where, like, our help defense, our secondary help defense, or even helping the helper, is just the communication, like Hardy says, it's just not there. There was a time someone got beat off the dribble, and I believe it was Lauri and Olynyk. It might have even been Embiid. Like, they didn't know who was going to pick him up and then who was going to go help off on the second pass if there was a pass. Like, I don't know if they haven't worked on help defense, but the help defense is really bad. And I think the weakness of this team is for sure our transition defense. The Atlanta Hawks, we won that game, but they were ramming it down our throats. And then
transition and paint defense.
Yeah, Washington Wizards were just running fast, and the Sixers don't even play at a fast pace. But I mean, there was times they just had easy fast break point dunks.
Yeah, for a half court team to constantly be getting fast breaks is crazy to me.
Yeah, especially with
one of the slowest paces in the league,
and with young guys. Like, we have young guys that are supposed to have energy. You just wouldn't think that would be one of our problems.
I think the energy would because the ball wasn't falling through the hoop, the energy was just being lost. But they was playing with a decent amount of energy. And I understand it is hard to sit there and guard somebody like Embiid. Like, Embiid is probably like the biggest bruiser. No, he's not probably. He's the biggest bruiser in the league. So it's just like, I can understand the frustration and the energy that it takes to actually deal with that for an entire game.
He's a big dude.
Our guards need to do a little better. Just be a little bit more selective when approaching the paint.
Yeah,
I think that's the biggest issue, because one thing I've seen that we were doing at the beginning of the season and majority of our wins is that when a guard did go to the paint and then try to shoot a floater or get a layup, two people from the corner or the guard and somebody from another wing or big from the corner would slide down and sit there and try to attack the offensive rebound.
Yeah.
We haven't been doing that for the last 3 games.
Yeah. Yeah, and Mike Conley's really been running the ship. He shoots 14%, only scores 3 points, and even his little teardropper, Clarkson shoots 26. So those are 2 guys we rely heavily on for points. Just the last 2 games, just didn't have
Conley,
it.
I feel like Conley is not aggressive enough, and so then when it's time for him to actually show up and take certain shots, he's not in rhythm. Because he's not taking shots that's wide open or anything like that. He's usually, most of his shots come around, prowling around the mid-range area and trying to get a little floater. It wasn't hitting, but there's multiple times where he had an open 3 and he maybe held for an extra 2 seconds and then swung. When he could have just popped the 3, see if he had it. He didn't have the confidence to take some of those shots, and a lot of those were in the second half.
Yeah.
So it's like it hurt us.
I agree. I think Conley needs to look to score more. I think he doesn't know whether he needs to facilitate or score just quite yet on this team. I think we were rolling so much in those first few games that it was coming naturally. But like you guys said, teams are scouting us now and they're playing us differently. So there's a fine line of, Conley, you got to score and then you got to facilitate. I also think at times he needs to just be off the floor because defensively, if the other team's big, he's a defensive liability, and you need to have Sexton or THT on there just for the defensive factor. And I think that's the part that we really have got to figure out, especially watching these last two games. Like, the defense has got to get better. We know that this team can score high in the 140s, but we got to be able to stop people. And when they keep going to the same thing over and over, the same player over and over, we've got to get gritty and like get some this is exactly why I feel like Jay Crowder would be perfect for us. Trade Gay, whatever you need to do.
Yeah, but the problem is Jay Crowder will going to start.
Yeah, I just, if he has to start, then but like, this team needs to learn grittiness from a player like Crowder. Like, that we don't have that guy. That maybe Sexton is the grittiest player, but he's just, I think his confidence isn't there because he's not starting and he's not getting the minutes that he thinks he deserves.
I think Vanderbilt's pretty gritty, but
yeah,
I think at second half, coach, he's been so good about adjustments most of the season. The second half, you see Embiid going off. He needs to see a double team every time he touches the ball and just force somebody else to start beating you.
Yeah, because there was a time they passed it. I believe he passed it out of the double team and it went to Tyrese Maxey and he missed a layup. And like, when Embiid's going, he's that dominant during a game, you got to start sending it, especially in those closing minutes when it's close. Like, you got to make somebody else beat you, and hopefully they make the mistake because he was just on fire.
Right. And I'm usually of the opinion, like, let one guy go off to beat you. But when they're that hot, they just got to see a double team every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My hope too was that he would have been too tired. This is a game, like, I don't ever think Azubuike is going to play, but this is a game that I had the thought, throw Azubuike in just to like lean on Embiid, almost like the UFC when they lean him up against the cage and just get him tired.
6 fouls. Yeah.
Do you guys think that this is a game that Azubuike could have just come in, leaned on him?
Took him off the dribble.
Yeah.
Embiid would have got it at the top of the key or top of the free throw line. ISO him, just blow by. Like, that's all. He wouldn't be able to get that off.
Yeah, you're probably right because he's blown by Markkanen.
Because majority of Embiid's points were mid-ranges and free throws.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like he was sitting there bruising people like that for the entire game, like, posting up. It wasn't really that too much. Only when really Olynyk and in a small would actually be sitting there guarding him is when Embiid was sitting there taking it to the post.
Which we should have just forced him out to the 3-point line.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should have just forced him out to the 3-point line. But that, even with that, that's kind of a difficult task.
Yeah, I think Olynyk did it at times where, he picked him up right at the 3-point line. And
Lauri was doing a decent job at the best he could possibly do at the end of the game. But you can't play tough enough if we're already in the bonus.
Lauri's not tough enough to finish on him, especially when he's having that kind of a night.
Tough enough, and the bone is you can't really throw too much at him. Like, the shit was getting crazy by like 8-minute mark in the fourth.
So
it was just like the Embiid show.
Our next game is on the 15th against New York. We're heading back home for 2 games, which will be nice. We haven't lost at home yet. We got New York, Phoenix, and then Portland. I'm really excited to watch us play Portland. Portland's kind of coming off their high a little bit as well, but I think they have a really well-constructed team and had some nice pickups with Jeremy Grant, Josh Hart. Once Gary Payton comes back, they'll be really tough. But what do you guys think? What can we get for predictions in the next 3 games?
I'll say 2-1. I think what you said, Knicks, Suns, and Blazers. I think we beat the first 2 and lose to the Blazers.
Yeah, the Blazers is on a back-to-back too. We play Phoenix at home and then go to the to Portland.
I think we get the Knicks, but I think we'll struggle against the Suns and the Blazers.
I want to see the Suns game is going to be able to tell me exactly where we're at, because that's a team who's a contender, but their big is not like a dominant big. So we'll be able to see how the guards play defense, how the guards really be able to, if the guards is able to slow down what's his name? Booker.
Yeah.
We'll see how our guards will be able to deal with Chris Paul and Bridges.
Yeah, it's going to be another game. I think Ayton's been having a pretty dang good year. It's going to be another game, though, like who's going to guard DeAndre Ayton, because he's one that could go off because we don't have a guy big enough to guard him in the post.
I don't think we have to worry about that too much. I don't think we have to worry about DeAndre Ayton too much.
Yeah, I don't think he can shoot jumpers.
He's one of those players who one game he could possibly give you 28, and the next game he might give you 7.
So here's the next question that's on my mind is, these are 2 games. Maybe they didn't get enough film in. Does Coach Hardy and the coaching staff look at this and say Walker Kessler needs more minutes, or are we going to see a lot more of the same? What do you guys think?
I think the next game he's not really going to switch it up for the next game.
Yeah, I don't think the Knicks have the players to play him.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything scary about the Knicks. They'll make Hardy just be like, okay, let me divert from what I've been doing this entire time. I don't really see Julius Randle's not scary enough.
Yeah.
I can't even make myself believe that shit. Like, Julius Randle's not scary enough. You don't really have to see the thing about the Knicks is that they play a lot of minutes for Hartenstein, and they play a lot of minutes for Robinson. So we don't really have to deal with that too much. The only thing we would have to see between those two is how we rebound against them, which we should be decent, but shit can get bad. I think, and that's another thing that we've been struggling with. Vanderbilt hasn't been attacking the boards the same way he's been attacking the boards.
Is Vanderbilt healthy? Because it feels like he's not. Like I was so high on him, and he doesn't
look like he's in the same form that he was at the beginning of the season. No?
Yeah, it's
who does, right?
Yeah.
Does look the same.
True.
Yeah, and I mean, we were on such a high playing so well. It's bound that we're gonna cool off. So it's like I think in the moment and the intensity of the game, and like just common sense, like put Walker Kessler on him. You could get maybe a little bit overreaction, especially from me. I get pretty heated. But yeah, it's a long season, and I think a lot of fans are probably going to turn from these 2 games and start talking crap about the team. But I still think we're a playoff team, especially with how young and how we really haven't played that many games. Once these guys get a chance to practice on work on different things, I think Coach Hardy's smart enough, and we have so many different lineups and different ways we can go with our roster that I think we'll be able to figure out and how to utilize that. So,
and to JC Drip's credit, he's the one that said it, that we got enough film out now that people know how to scout us. So, yeah, I mean, our response to that of, we got to respond to that of how we're going to beat that.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you guys jumping in. I am going to go to bed. Well, not go to bed, but I'm going to hop off and try and get ready for the week. We've got, New York Knicks on Tuesday. So we'll do the pregame and postgame after that. I know we have another guest in here that hasn't spoken, R2 Nyman. Welcome. If you want to jump on before and after every game, we are here. I love that you guys keep showing up and that we keep getting feedback back and forth. It's super fun. We are now on YouTube at Jazzketball. Go follow us. We're on all podcasts. We're actually streaming live on YouTube right now. I need to maybe upgrade my web camera. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how many people tune in on YouTube. But we are growing steadily on the podcast. We are getting a lot of listeners from Finland. I believe it's like over 20% of our listeners come from Finland, Germany, France. So if you are listening to this and you're overseas, it's really cool that we have the technology to do that. And then I'm able to see who listens in. I believe the last episode, not last night's game, but the game before that, we had over 300 downloads, which is the best episode we've had this far. And it seems like every single time we have a game, more people are jumping on these spaces on Twitter and more people are listening in. So leave us a review wherever you're listening. Share this, retweets, everything, all that spammy, junky stuff that everyone says. It really does help. So appreciate you guys, and tough loss for the Jazz. They lose by 7, but we got another chance to come back home and win 2 games and get back on track. So go Jazz, and good game, Embiid. I mean, what do you say? He scored 59 on us. I'm not the biggest fan, but when someone scores 59, good game, boy.
It is what it is. Thanks for hosting, man. Have a good night.
Yep. See you guys.